I'm Duncan Ferguson and you're watching Toffee TV.
Welcome to Toffee TV. It is me, Baz. I've managed to grab Robby from Arsenal Fan TV into our studio to talk about...
Nice studio, by the way.
That's alright, you've been here before, you're a good lad. To talk about Everton's new investor, Farhad Moshiri, who has moved over from Robby's team, Arsenal, to Everton. Robby, initial thoughts about that? You know, Paul Mason made a comment at the weekend that it's bad news. People construed that as bad news for Everton. I believe he meant it was bad news for Arsenal in terms of the frustration. So basically, Farhad Moshiri, and what are your initial thoughts?
I think he meant bad news for Arsenal,
right?
Because the guy, you know, he was partnering with Alisher Usmanov,
yeah.
Who Usmanov, one of the richest guys. I think he is the richest guy in the country, and him. I can't pronounce his name right. They're they've been very, very close.
Yeah.
And now that he's left and come over to Everton, I think that's what Merson's implied, that we don't want Usmanov also coming across, because these guys have got a lot of money. Both of them,
yeah.
Both very powerful guys.
That has been hinted at. Actually, in the press.
I think Usmanov has come out and said that he's got no intentions of leaving Arsenal. At
the moment,
we are fearful. I feel fearful because Usmanov has been at Arsenal for a long time, and he definitely wants to run the club. But even though he's got a massive stake, and even with the stake that he's just got, he just still can't get over the line to have that controlling stake. It's still with Stan Kroenke, the American. And there's a lot of Arsenal fans who like Usmanov, because basically Usmanov said, if you put me in charge, I will spend money. It won't be being skin flip with the money. I will spend it. And I think that's why it's good news for you guys with this, because this guy was big partners with Usmanov, and if he's got a similar attitude, he's a football guy, he loves football. He knows the Premier League. He's been around it now for a while. I think it's a very, very good thing for Everton.
We've seen over the weekend someone put the open letter that Usmanov and Moshiri had done to the Arsenal fans, going back to 2012, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it was obviously not going to go through the whole letter, but it was a really, really insightful piece, and it was talking about we want to compete for the best players, we want to win trophies, we don't want to squeeze every last pound out of the fans, and basically that's great for us, because it gives us, I believe, it gives Everton fans a little bit of an insight into Farhad Moshiri in terms of where he can take Everton.
I think the other important thing in that open letter, if it's the same open letter you're talking about, is that they were also talking about the fact that there's always been a perception at Arsenal that it's very easy for Arsene Wenger, because the guys at the top don't Stan Kroenke, he's over in America, he's got his big ranch, owns these teams over in America, and sort of lets Arsene Wenger get on with it. Where what they were saying is that if we were in charge, we would put pressure on him to win things. The pressure would be on to, say, for instance, win the league, win the Champions League, and they also said in that letter, and we would give him the resources to do so. So Moshiri coming to Everton, if he's got the same sort of principles, he might be saying to Roberto Martinez, all right, I'm coming, I'm going to bring a lot of money, and we're going to get things in place, but I'll set you certain targets, top 4 by this year or whatever. And I think that is good, because you want someone who's going to drive the manager, so that the manager doesn't feel comfortable, the manager feels like I have to deliver on, and if he's giving them the resources as well, I think it's going to be really good for your club.
That's the thing. What we were talking about, we've done, me and Ped have done videos this week, and we've talked about the fact that having a plan is it's bigger for me. It's a bigger indication of where the club's going, rather than just coming in and going, oh, there's 100 million for players. It's having someone with that long-term strategy. And the criticism we've levelled at the club sometimes is there isn't any pressure on people at the club. It is kind of easy-ozy, as long as you do okay, it's all right. Moshiri, like you've just said in that open letter, there's a statement of intent there, and I don't believe he's coming here to make a fast buck. I believe given
he could have stayed at Arsenal.
Exactly. But I'm hoping that he's a little bit wound up by the fact that he could never get what he wanted at Arsenal.
I'm hoping not.
And he's coming here to say, look, I'm going to make this club you know, a contender again, and I'm gonna do it because he's got the open book. He's got the book there with the contacts in. His little black book that says, I know X, Y, and Z who are all businessmen. This is a clever man. He's worth 1.3 billion. That's his own personal fortune without his assets. So he's got money behind him. If you read between the lines, there's other people he wants involved. It may be Usmanov, it may not. It may be a third party, someone who they.
But if you're a billionaire, you're going to know other billionaires. If you're poor people like us, you know other poor people. You know what I mean? So, you know, but if you're a billionaire, you're going to know other billionaires. You're going to know other rich people. You're going to know people of influence. So, this guy, from what I've read about him, from what I've been told about him, he's going to have a plan. He would not just have taken this on a whim. And from what I understand, the talks have been going on for a while. So, and Bill Kenwright has never given it over to anyone, has he? So, I think for Everton, you know, if I was an Everton fan, I'd be excited that he's coming in. As I said, what I know about him though is limited.
Yeah.
All I know is that he's been at Arsenal for a while. He's with Usmanov, and they're football people. They're not just
and he knows the Premier League.
He knows the Premier League, and they're not just in this for, you know, going to get a little plaything or whatever. I think he is a football guy, and I think, you know, he's looked at it obviously, and people have told him about Everton. What Everton used to be, you know, back in the day. I mean, when I was growing up, Everton were a big, massive club, winning things, winning leagues and stuff like that. So he's obviously knows about that. I mean, it's not going to be easy though. I just think, you know, the only thing I keep thinking about is what will happen with the stadium stuff. Yeah. Because remember, I don't know how much of his involvement would have been with the stadium. Again, because although him and Usmanov were on the board at Arsenal, with the stadium stuff, it was still more done by the other owners. Peter Hillwood before it going out. So, you know, and they did things a lot differently. If these guys would have been in charge at that time, would they have done the same sort of policy where they're saying, right, everything's got to be paid off first? I really don't know. But that's, I mean, that's from our point of view, that's the issue that needs addressing the stadium. If he can start getting that on board and getting the right people on board and working with people and put money down, that's something Everton haven't been able to do with stadium talks. It can drive us forward. But from your point of view, it's a good thing. From my point of view, it's a great thing for Everton. I think I see the immediate benefits is that you're not going to have to just get rid of players. You know, if this guy, with the money that he's got, you know, you won't, if a Chelsea come along with mega money for John Stones or Lukaku or that, this guy's got enough money to say, well, actually, now, keep your money, we're all right. And I think that's so initially, and I think this guy, from what I've read before, he'll set targets for the manager. He'll have an ambition. I think first and foremost, his ambitions are probably going to be top 4 and maybe winning some sort of FA Cup or something like that. He's a realistic guy. He's been around football. He's been around Arsenal. He's been very realistic with his outlook there. So I think it's a very good move for hopefully not too good a move. But as long as you overtake the Reds, that's good enough for me. Robby, massive thanks for coming and chatting to us. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. You've heard the main man Robby and his endorsement of Farhad Moshiri. Give us a little subscribe up there. Follow us on Twitter at Toffee TV. Find us on Facebook. Ped knows the Facebook address better than me, but just put EFC Toffee TV and you'll get us there, and I'll catch you next time. Once again, big thanks to Robby. If you like Robby, bounce over to Arsenal Fan TV, that's great as well, and I'll catch you next time on Toffee TV.